The Municipal Council to order at 7 o'clock. Please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, I'll have you read the notice of the special meeting, then we'll take attendance.
Certainly. Date, May 16th, 2024, to the members of the Municipal Council from James Delisio, Council President. Councilors, by authority of Article 2, Section 2-7C of the Attleboro Home Rule Charter, I hereby call a special meeting of the Municipal Council as follows. On Wednesday, May 29th, 2024, at 77 Park Street, City Council Chambers in Attleboro. The purpose, a Finance Committee meeting to begin for budget votes and then continue to a special meeting to vote all budget fiscal year 25 items. Sincerely, James J. Delisio, President.
Thank you. Where we are, we do have Councilor Tavares joining us via Zoom. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call vote for attendance? Please reply by here or present.
Mr. Kobus.
Present.
Ms. Foa.
Here.
Mr. Lavoy.
Present.
Ms. Reynolds.
Here.
Vice President Dolan.
Here.
Ms. Holmes.
Present.
Mr. Angelo.
Present.
Ms. Sawyer.
Here.
Mr. Waterman.
Present.
Mr. Tavares.
Here.
President Delisio.
Present.
All 11 present, none absent.
Thank you. I would now entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. This will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Mr. Angelo.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Vice President Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy.
Yes.
Ms. Foa.
Yes.
Mr. Kobus.
Yes.
President Delisio.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. We're operating under suspended rules because we are here with the primary focus today of voting out the fiscal 25 budget. We will have no committee of the whole. There are no public hearings. There's no old business. There is no new business. There won't be committee reports other than Mr. Kobus and Vice President Dolan, which we will recognize Vice President Dolan now.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Works Committee from the docket of June 4th, 2024. I move to approve the attached resolution, which states the representative of the city with authority to take action necessary relative to the PFAS treatment. You know what? I think I'm missing one. There was two. Gary.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we come back to you if you want to go touch base with
Please.
Virginia. We can start the budget and then we'll just end with yours.
Thank you.
No worries. Also, why we are, excuse me, operating under suspended rules, Deb Gould, the city auditor, is here in the event that we do need to run something by her, which I'm pretty optimistic we won't need to. The other thing is, because we're on Zoom, Jonathan's on Zoom, every vote will be a roll call vote, which I think there would have been primarily anyway, but that includes adjourning. So we'll now recognize Councilor Kobus.
Thank you, President Delisio. And like last night, these first 5 items are fairly routine, and then the remainder are budget items. So the first item from the docket of June 4th, 2024, I move to authorize the school department to pay this previous year's school bill totaling $2,548 to Castro, Thresher, and Oliveira PC.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
Discussed it last night.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Kobus.
Mr. Kobus.
Yes.
Ms. Foa.
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Vice President, Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Angelo.
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
President Delisio.
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 absence.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of June 4th, 2024, I move to approve the following transfer to address the need for salary funding for the remainder of fiscal year 24. Transfer the following: $1,000 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Mayor Salary and Wages Full-Time, $1,000 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Budget and Administration Salary and Wages Full-Time.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
53rd week.
Okay. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of June 4th, 2024, I move to transfer $250 from account Citywide Reserve for compensation 53rd week to account animal control salary and wages full-time,
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
53rd week.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. And from the docket of May 21st, 2024, I move to transfer $15,000 from account Citywide Special Events Professional Services to account Citywide Other Financial Uses, and further transfer $15,000 to Citywide Other Financial Services to fund a laser light show at Attleboro High School in July.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
We discussed this pretty extensively last night, and again, I'd like to applaud the mayor for being creative and finding a solution so that we could do something this year.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Now we're on to, oh, no, not yet. From the docket of May 21st, 2024, I move to transfer $73.45 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Citywide Bills previous year in order to pay a fiscal year 24 invoice to the city of Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
Previous year's bill.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Now we are on to the budget motions. From the docket of May 21st, 2024, I move to amend section 7-8.1B of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro to establish a per bag cost of $2.50 effective July 1st, 2024. The fiscal year 2025 solid waste budget was constructed with a proposed solid waste fee of $325 and a proposed bag fee of $2.50.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
And as discussed last night, I'd like to amend this, per the discussion last night, to change the solid waste fee to $331 and the proposed bag fee to $2.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
I think we discussed this pretty extensively last night, and I distributed the communication from Cheryl, and I think it was discussed pretty thoroughly.
Do we have any additional questions or comments on the amendment? Councilor, Vice President Dolan.
I won't be supporting this amendment for everything I said yesterday. Again, I stand strong on if you use more, you pay more. And, to add it to the ratepayer, I don't think is fair because you have people on fixed incomes like seniors and veterans and single folks that don't even use the entire blue barrel. The bags are to encourage, the fee for the bags is to encourage people to recycle more and control their trash better. So I believe that the solid waste is all one department, so I won't be supporting this.
I'll entertain comments. I don't want to have the same comments repeated and regurgitated from less than 24 hours ago, so if we have new information to share, that'd be welcome. Councilor Lavoy.
Thank you for that, President Delicio. This is a new point as well. Just one thing to mention that everyone wants to encourage people to not use these bags, which is great. If everyone fit everything in the blue barrel and these bags went away, then we would be back here immediately to raise the solid waste fee to the entire city. So the argument of people need to use less plays no relevance, because one way or another, the recycling center needs to be funded, and that will come on the solid waste fee if for some reason tomorrow this made everyone not use bags. Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this is, we'll have a vote on the amendment, changing the solid waste fee from $3.25 and the bag fee from $2.50 to $2. The amendment again on the solid waste fee would go from $3.25 to $3.31, $2.50 to $2. We'll have a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
No.
Ms. Sawyer?
No.
Mr. Angelo?
No.
Ms. Holmes?
No.
Vice President Dolan?
No.
Ms. Reynolds?
No.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
No.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
7 nays, 4 yeas.
Amendment fails. We're now back to the original motion. And are there any comments or questions? Mr. Lavoy.
Thank you. I'd like to propose an amendment to change the city bag rate to $2.25 per bag, and the solid waste fee to $328.
Second.
Yeah, and what was the price that you had on the?
$328 annually and $225 per bag.
Okay, so,
$2.25 a bag and $3.28 annually for the solid waste.
yep.
Yes.
Correct, thank you.
Okay. And who seconded that?
Everybody.
Todd, Lauren, at the same
Me,
time.
Diana,
Give
it
it
doesn't matter.
to the vice president. Okay. Comments?
Yeah, thank you, sorry. I actually saw this from the communication that went out today, and I thought it was a sound suggestion. I think that it's pretty fair. I think, where both sides kind of went back and forth, I think this is a pretty fair way to balance that across both sides. Not raising the rate too much, but also not raising the bags by too much. I hope that people can support that, and maybe just a little bit of give will have people come on board.
Vice President Dolan.
Just a reminder that we're already raising the rate $25. So it's not like we're only raising it this minimal amount. So it's already being raised $25. So I won't support this amendment either. Thank you.
Councilor Holmes.
Briefly, I appreciate the compromise. I think that that's a nice compromise. With that being said, I've just thought about it a little bit, and I think that the bags do need to go to $2.50. And I think next year, we're gonna be, with the new contract, having another conversation about this. So I feel like this is just the beginning of what's to come. It's been over 10 years since we increased the fee for the bags, and so I do think it's time. So I don't think I can support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fowa.
I don't believe I can support it either. The rate has increased since fiscal year 2013, 76%, the general user fee. And there has been no increase in the bag fee or cost. I think it is time to readjust that balance, and that $2.50 does it. And I am satisfied with this original motion, and that's what I would support.
Thank you. Mr. Lavoy.
Thank you. The bag has not increased because there's been no increase to dispose of it or an increase in making the bag. And in this proposal, the cost of the bag has not changed at all from the previous fiscal year. The annual rate goes up per the contract that we agreed on, that the rate would go up from Waste Management each year. That's to be, and the notation that the contract's guaranteed to go up next year is not set in stone. We haven't even had negotiations, and the previous administration had one company come to bid. They didn't try to get any other companies to bid. So hopefully this year, I'm pretty confident in our new mayor that they'll bring competition, and competition brings better pricing. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Cobus. And again, this is on the Lavoy amendment of the solid waste fee going to $3.28 and the bags going to $2.25.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
No.
Mr. Lavoy,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
No.
Vice President Dolan,
No.
Ms. Holmes,
No.
Mr. Angelo,
No.
Ms. Sawyer,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
No.
Mr. Tavares,
Yes.
President Delicio,
Yes.
7 nays, 4 yeas.
We're back to the original motion. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares. And again, it's the solid waste fee of $3.25 and the proposed bag fee of $2.50.
Mr. Tavares,
No.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer,
Yes.
Mr. Angelo,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Vice President Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy,
No.
Ms. Foa,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
President Delicio,
Yes.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to appropriate $656,878 of available free cash from account general fund undesignated fund balance to account general fund fund balance reserved for expenditures. The purpose of this appropriation from general fund undesignated fund balance free cash is to reduce the fiscal year 2025 tax levy.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
And again, from last night, 500,000 is for capital improvement and 156 is to pay down the ban.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move that under the provisions of Chapter 4, Section 53E and a half, as amended, to approve the expenditures limits for the following revolving funds outlined under Chapter 20 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro for fiscal year 2025.
You may waive the reading.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
These are the revolving funds.
Thank you. Well, additional questions or comments? We'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the solid waste fee of $325. This is a $25 increase from fiscal year 2024.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
Solid waste fee.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
No.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the solid waste fee of $52.02 per unit to be credited to Fund Number 2604, Residential Special Waste Disposal for fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
No comments.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the water fee of $7.19 per 100 cubic feet. This is a $1.20 increase from fiscal year 2024. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2024. Bills that span the old rate and the new rate will be prorated appropriately as they were for the previous rate increase.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
No comments.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to appropriate $281,000 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to fund the fiscal year 2025 Water Enterprise budget.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
Using retained earnings to pay for the Water Enterprise budget.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the wastewater fee of $11.81 and $13.29 per 100 cubic feet for residential and industrial respectively. This is a $1.29 increase in the residential rate and a $1.87 increase in the industrial rate from fiscal year 2024. This rate applies to consumption on and after July 1st, 2024. Bills that span the old rate and the new rate will be prorated appropriately as they were for the previous rate increase.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
It's the wastewater fee.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to appropriate $350,000 from account Wastewater Enterprise Fund retained earnings to fund the fiscal year 2025 wastewater enterprise budget.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
$350,000 from retained earnings to fund the wastewater budget.
Thank you. Additional questions, comments? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to transfer $836,177 from Fund 6100 Water Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to fund the indirect cost for fiscal year 2025. The dollar amount presented is from fiscal year 2025 budget book. Please note the figure excludes the OPEB.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
Discussed it last night.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to transfer $751,300 from Fund 6000 Water Enterprise Fund to the General Government Fund to provide funding for the indirect cost for fiscal year 2025 budget. The dollar amount presented is from the fiscal year 2025 budget book. This required transfer also excludes the OPEB contribution and the expenses associated with debt.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
Wastewater indirects.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman? Ms.
Yes.
Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to transfer $46,346.55 from AHS Construction Other Financing Uses to General Fund Other Financing Sources, and to further transfer the funds from General Fund Other Financing Sources to General Fund Reserve for Premium DE Payment.
Second.
Thank you, motion's in order. Any comments?
Discussed it last night.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the Municipal Council Fiscal Year 2025 Budget Message.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any questions or comments?
We read it into the record last night.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Farrell.
I believe this should be signed by the entire council, as it currently is. It is signed simply by the Finance Committee.
Are you making an amendment?
I move to amend the
Okay,
letter.
thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments? Councilor Kovas.
And I agree with that. I followed what Councilor Conti, the previous finance chair, had done previously, and I think that's a good idea, and I encourage everyone to support that, and I think it's the right thing to do, and it should come from the full council.
Okay. Councilor Lavoy.
Just thank you for your work, and either way, it didn't entirely matter to me. I feel like my vote is a signature for it, but happy to sign it, and appreciate you working on it. Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Okay, so this is on the amendment for the budget message as presented with the amendment of changing it from the Finance Committee to signed by the Municipal Council. We'll have roll call vote beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Amendment passes. We are now back to the motion as amended. Additional questions or comments? We'll have a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of April 16th, 2024, I move to approve the fiscal year 2025 proposed budget for the Water and Wastewater Enterprise Funds. Total wastewater enterprise fund, $10,959,101. Total water enterprise fund, $9,825,998.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Discussed it last night.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And from the docket of May 7th, 2024, I move to approve the City of Attleboro's proposed general government annual budget for fiscal year 2025, and the total being $181,658,463.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
We've discussed it all month.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. Council Cobus, before we recognize you again, I just want to say thank you for your hard work on this budget. It was a very condensed time frame, and I think the conversations that you had over those 3 nights with the department heads was impressive. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Mason, we didn't thank Deb Gould, and of course the mayor for presenting a balanced budget in this day and age is not exactly easy, but I appreciate your leadership throughout this process. I appreciate the creativity that you showed with the bags, and it generated really good discussion, and I think a discussion that will continue over the course of the next year. So thank you for that.
And thank you for your support, and thank you to everybody for the discussions we had, and for your support during the process, and of course for Mason and for Deb, and for especially for Virginia for answering a ton of emails and back and forth. And yes, so thank you.
You're welcome. Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, President Delicio. Kind of echoing your thoughts a little bit, but obviously you've worked hard on a budget over the years and done a great job. And Council Conti has continued to do that, and obviously I am glad you are doing it. You did a great job, and I give you a lot of credit. I really do. So thank you very much.
All right,
Team effort.
thank you. Okay, Council Cobus,
That concludes the business for the Finance Committee. I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
which would be nice, because it won't be on an off night. Councilor Dolan, Vice President.
That's all right. Do you want me to do the 2,000 since I have it?
Yeah, what the heck? Hang it out.
So first of all, thank you. Apologies, I had two motions here, and I thought they were the two correct ones, so apologies to Virginia. So I'm going to read all three, if you all bear with me. From the docket of June 4th, 2024, I move to approve the attached resolution, which states the representative of the city with authority to take action necessary relative to the PFAS treatment project. This document is required to support the submission to Mass Clean Water Trust States Revolving Fund Program, SRF, for financial assistance for this project. It must be submitted to Mass DEP by the end of June 2024.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No, we discussed in last night.
Okay. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Tavares.
Mr. Tavares? Hello, Mr.
I
Tavares?
said yes.
You're muted.
Sorry, yes.
Hey, we've just done
Waterman.
a ton of votes. One
You almost
isn't bad.
made it.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of June 4th, 2024, I move to approve the expenditure of such funds and also approve any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a Southeast New England Program SNEP Watershed Implementation Grant in the amount of $40,000 from the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management and NEIWPCC for the removal and eradication of the nuisance water chestnuts in the 10 Mile River watershed at Dodgeville Pond.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No, we discussed in committee.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Final motion from the docket of June 4th, 2024. I entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of such funds and also approve any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of an earmark in the amount of $25,000 through the efforts and hard work of Senator Paul Feeney for the purpose of repairing and improving the canoe launch and small municipal parking area located on Holden Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
Thank you, Senator Feeney.
Mr. Lavoy.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, good catch to get this on there. It's definitely important, so wanted to commend you on catching it.
Thanks.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
That's 11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that's all the business for Public Works Committee, and we look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Before I entertain, I do just want to take a second. I know, I believe Council Cobus already thanked Virginia, but I need to thank Virginia for getting all this together. It's no easy task every year at budget. And then being able to, and thank you to Vice President Dolan for pivoting, and we had a request from a department head to get a couple of these motions out. So appreciate everyone working together on this to get the budget done as quickly as we did heading into June. It's a nice sigh of relief. So that being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Wow, that was quick. That was quick. We'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus. We'll end it with how we started.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. We adjourned at 7:34. Well done, everyone. Well done.